Today I'm going to do a spoiler review of Star Wars The Last Jedi. That me and the boys just saw it yesterday, so it's fresh in our minds. I'm going to go through the good, the bad, and just some stuff that I thought would merit mentioning. Alright, now, overall, well, I'll tell you my overall score at the end. First, we'll tell you about the good with The Last Jedi. All the scenes with Rey and Luke were perfect. The interaction between them, friends, student, teacher, mentor, apprentice, everything between Rey and Luke was pretty good. The Kylo Ren background. You got a little bit of Kylo Ren's background from Luke's perspective and then from Kylo Ren's perspective. Same scene, but, as Obi-Wan can say, two different points of view. The beginning battle with the Dreadnought. Oh, that was a good space battle. Probably the only space battle in the entire movie, which for a Star Wars movie wasn't right. But we're going on the good right now, so that was good. The battle between Rey and Kylo Ren and the Praetorian Guards. Even though, in reality, Rey and Kylo Ren, the two strongest Jedi, should have been easily force-pushed the Praetorian Guards against the wall, choke them to death. But besides that, the way they did the battle with the lightsabers, the Praetorian Guards had their staffs. It was a beautiful work of cinematography. It was a great battle. Finn and Rose. I do like the chemistry between Finn and Rose. I think they worked well off each other. I didn't care too much for their adventure, but I did like the interaction. It actually gave Finn something to do, because really he wasn't part of the main story at all. Oh, the Yoda scene. When I saw Yoda, Force Yoda, talking to Luke on Octu, it reminded me of Dagobah all over again. There you go. Sorry about that. The Luke projection sequence. Remember, this is a spoiler review. The Luke projection sequence at the end of the movie. I was even surprised it was a projection sequence. It was just, classic Star Wars. It was everything about that scene. The interaction between Luke and Ben Solo, his apprentice, was very good. It was good to see Maz Kanata again. And actually got to see her in action. And it was a throwback to the Star Wars A New Hope, the Princess Leia hologram from R2-D2. I love that part too. Now is all the stuff that I liked about the movie. Now for the bad stuff. Leia in space. Alright, she gets blown in space. She freezes. Somehow she uses the Force to revive herself, and she flies back to the ship like Superman. That was a little reaching. I didn't care too much. And then, this was Carrie Fisher's last movie. I heard so much about General Leia being a big part of the story. She was in a coma for half the movie. I thought for sure they'd do a lot better Princess Leia. Sometimes the humor didn't work. A lot of times the humor felt pushed. I know it is a Disney movie. The original humor in the Star Wars between Han was perfect. This one, some of the humor, I think they forced it way too much. The Poe character, completely out of character, doing a mutiny, and in the very end, he was wrong. That whole mission on the casino mission was a farce. It didn't have to happen, and in the end, the final results were it made things worse and not better. The whole space chase. Battlestar Galactica. That's what it reminded me of. Where the rebel ship was the Galactica and the Cylons were the First Order. This goes back to Star Trek II: The Wrath of Khan. Where you're looking at a space battle in 2D and not 3D. You had the First Order couldn't catch up to the rebel fleet. So they followed them. They didn't want to go into light speed because they could track him in light speed. They had enough fuel for one jump. Why couldn't the First Order light speed jump ahead of the rebel fleet and then wait for them? And like I said, Star Trek, we're talking about 2D. When Kirk was fighting Khan was thinking this way. Kirk thought 3D. He dropped, moved underneath Khan, came back up. This whole battle, it was Battlestar Galactica. I didn't think it belonged in a Star Wars movie. The whole movie, they were chasing each other. And you tell me the fleet was faster than the TIE fighters? That was a big, big plot hole, but I could overlook it. The BB-9E. They had marketed this guy like the evil BB-8. What was he in? One big scene. That's it. He had 10 minutes of screen time. That, I think they pushed it too. Plasma. Wasted. Again, you have a great actress. Everybody complained in The Force Awakens. She only had a few minutes of airtime. They brought her back. They killed her. Again, that's twice they messed up the Captain Phasma figure. And the true story of Rey's parents. Really? Remember, this is a spoiler alert. They were nobody. They were drunks on Jakku. They were gamblers. I still think if they were smart, they would still mess with Rey's character and say she's a Kenobi. She's a distant relative of Aunt Beru and Uncle Owen. Something. Just having her be a nobody defeats the purpose. Now, I did like the movie. The other stuff that I thought was good was The Empire Strikes Back and Return the Jedi scenes. Empire Strikes Back. You had the Hoth planet. You had the Snow planet. The Adat walkers. The ATST walkers. You had Dagobah versus Ahch-To. And in the end, it's just like Empire. The bad guys won and the good guys lost. Now, Return the Jedi references. The elevator scene where Rey and Ben going to meet Snoke was just like Luke and Vader on Endor. Luke gave himself up to Vader. They went up to the Death Star. And then you had Luke, Vader, Emperor. Here you had Rey, Kylo, Snoke. Although Snoke was a lot more powerful to Rey than what the Emperor did to Luke. But it was just another Jedi reference. I didn't mind it. Like, The Force Awakens, they took A New Hope, and they basically went boom, 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 Act 1, Act 2, Act 3. A lot of the same scenes, different characters, different planets. But even though it had throwbacks to Empire and Jedi, I loved it. Luke disappearing, becoming one with the Force. So now he joined Obi-Wan Kenobi, and he joined Yoda as one. Remember, Qui-Gon got cut in half. He died. But Luke, Obi-Wan, and Yoda left on their own terms. They disappeared. They became one with the Force. And that whole thing, they started with a whole fleet, medical ships, rebellion ships. One by one, the medical ships lost power. Why didn't they fly to the main rebel ship when they still had power? On the planet, they went down to the planet, and all the people in the trenches, they were fighting. And at the end of the movie, all that's left was a handful of people that fit in the Millennium Falcon. Wow. Everybody died. Oh, and one other thing I didn't like was the Finn Rose storyline. Let's go into more of that. Rose and Finn went to this casino planet to find this one guy, Master Codebreaker, because they wanted to shut down the tracker so they could warp away. Well, turns out they didn't find one guy, but they found another Codebreaker that's got the same skills. Sometimes one line of dialogue, even if they would have been like, yeah, I used to have a red bloom on my outfit, but somebody stole it. All right, that way you explain there's only one Codebreaker and not two. I know it's Bianco de, whatever his name, Del Toro, the Guardian, the Collector in the Guardian Galaxy movie. I knew it was him. His part was fine. Well, his acting was fine, but the character, if Finn and Rose never went to the casino planet, then they wouldn't have brought this guy back to tell the First Order did a cloaking decryption, and the First Order took out 10 ships before the new Vice Admiral, decided to light speed into the First Order dreadnought or Star Destroyer and destroy it. So that actually hurt him. It goes back to where Poe was just used very, very bad in this movie. That whole arc was worse than good. They could have done, I know they had to find some room for Finn. And you had to shove in another female player, another female actor with you had to shove in a female Asian actor with your African American actor, because you have one white Hispanic actor, Poe. You had to find room. Rey. They're shoehorning. Disney, ever since Disney bought Star Wars, the humor's too much. They're playing too much to the diversity crowd. Too much PC. Stick to Star Wars. I'm glad that Star Wars is back and it's not George Lucas. But Disney has to find that sweet spot. With Disney, they're taking it the Marvel route. Too much joke. And Snoke, the big Supreme Leader Snoke, dead. In his golden bathrobe. But even though I'm complaining, it seems like I'm complaining more about the movie. But overall, I give the movie a 7 out of 10. There was too much good stuff in this movie. With Luke, with Rey. I mean, just those two. And then between Kyle and Rey talking to each other through the Force, touching hands. There was so much good in this movie, but the bad stuff kind of dragged it down. The whole Battlestar Galactica space chase made no sense. Princess Leia, or General Leia, unconscious throughout half the movie. I know I'm nitpicking. I did like the movie. I'm going to have to see it a second time just to see. I said the good in this movie outweighs the bad. I understand why the audience score is, 56 on Rotten Tomatoes. And the critics, I don't know what the critics seem to give Disney and Marvel a pass on plot holes, on bad acting, on bad CGI. And then in other movies like Warner Brothers, they seem to focus on the bad CGI and the weak villain. But Disney gets a pass. Again, Disney got a pass from the critics. But I'm glad the audience is finally saying, hey, just because you stick the word Star Wars on it doesn't mean it's going to be a great movie. You gotta make your movie for the fans. And that's all I could say about the movie. Overall, I give it a 7 out of 10. I am going to go see the movie with my boys again. Out of the post-George Lucas Disney era between Rogue One, The Force Awakens, and The Last Jedi, I would still rate Rogue One as my favorite movie. Last Jedi would be 2, and The Force Awakens would be 3. I did enjoy The Last Jedi. Sometimes you're in the movie and you see Rey and Luke. I mean, even the guy's he hasn't acted in a lot lately, but Mark Hamill nailed Luke Skywalker. Just nailed it. Rey, great. I love Rey. But for the other characters, I wish they would have had another subplot. While Rey and Luke were on Octu, I wish they had another subplot instead of, like I said, the Battlestar Galactica space chase. But that is my review. Please check out my channel I did a review on Justice League. Me and my boys do Transformer reviews. We do DC character reviews. We do Voltron. Just check out my other channel. Subscribe. Like this channel. Share it with your friends. And please leave a comment. If you disagree with me on some scenes, I want to hear about it. If you agree with me on some stuff, let me hear about it. Alright, this is Rodimus Bill, signing off.